I'll build a stairway to paradise with a new step every day. She suffers. You see how she suffers through being my daughter? But wait a second. What's happening? It's Cocktails with Britt. Bye. Today we're going to make a special menu of cocktails. Basically coming from two books that are essentially the same. This is a Xerox copy of a very difficult to procure book called the Old Waldorf Astoria Bar Book. This has some pre-prohibition, we're going to get to this term in a minute, cocktails, some of which we're going to make. And this is the new Waldorf Astoria Bar Book, which has the old recipes with modern updates. Now, the Waldorf Astoria is in New York City. It's on Fifth Avenue. And it used to be the center of style and fashion in New York. It fell on hard times. It's currently closed for a major renovation. But it's a pretty storied hotel. I come from a hotel family. The Waldorf Astoria was always a definite name that we knew and was an important hotel, and is certainly in its day. So we're going to make cocktails that originated at the Waldorf and some that became famous because of the Waldorf. The Waldorf Astoria, of all places, is actually responsible for several pretty famous things, American things. Number one, Eggs Benedict.
Okay.
Which was named after a stockbroker, not Benedict Arnold, who had a hangover and described what he wanted to eat. Eggs Benedict. That's true.
Yeah.
Not, as my father used to call them, traitor eggs, named after Benedict Arnold. No, Daddy, it was a stockbroker. Also, red velvet cake.
Did not know that.
Waldorf salad.
Okay.
And perhaps most famous of all, the martini, which was created at the Waldorf from a traveling American man whose last name was Martinez, coming in and asking for a drink that he had somewhere in the world. And the famous bartenders of the Waldorf created the martini, which at that time had sweet and dry vermouth in it. Anyways, we're going to make some drinks. What are we going to make, Britt? We're going to make something called a Knickerbocker, which is surprisingly tropical.
Very tropical.
Yeah. Then we're going to make a very beautiful named drink called the CLOVER CLUB, which is essentially a fancy cosmopolitan. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I think it's like a gin sour meets a cosmopolitan.
Yeah, but it was a very popular drink back then. Then we're going to make something wonderfully called the BRONX.
Yes.
Fabulous. Then we're going to make the most disgusting drink known to man, the grasshopper. With creme de menthe. Wonderfully, my mother's advice to me as a child was that if I ever went on a date with a gentleman and he ordered a creme de menthe frappe, I was allowed to simply stand from the table and exit the restaurant without any explanation.
Absolutely.
She told me. Then we're going to finish it up with a very old drink called milk punch, which sounds gross, but it's actually kind of not gross. Britt's going to talk about some fancy thing that you can do. We're not doing that.
I don't have to talk about it.
It's essentially like a Brandy Alexander kind of, yeah. But so those are the fun drinks we're going to make based on the old Waldorf Astoria bar book and also the new Waldorf Astoria. And God bless the Waldorf, and let's hope she comes back. So one of the most important things we have to talk about, even though I know everybody already knows this, is what is prohibition? In 1919 to 1933, you could not manufacture or sell alcohol in the United States.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. So what happened? People started making and selling alcohol that wasn't labeled correctly, right? And it was also started a huge underground called bootleggers. So in 1933, they decided that they were going to repeal prohibition. So the Bronx.
Yes.
The Bronx is essentially made from something called a duplex, which is another drink.
Yeah, it was essentially inspired, but the guy was making a duplex, which is just 2 vermouths and I think soda, but
and orange bitters.
And orange bitters, and was approached by a server to create something different tonight. We want something else. So we grabbed a bottle of gin. It's gin, our 2 vermouths, orange bitters, and added orange juice.
And the famous comment, if you're a Bronx drinker, was you're going to need a lot of oranges. Yeah, because the drink sold like wildfire. The server was correct. Who the bartender was, it matters which book you're reading. There was 2 very famous bartenders there, Oscar Tschirky, and you never really know. The most famous book of all, with all the recipes, is handwritten, and nobody knows where it is. So this book was taken from the handwritten book.
It's pretty special.
But this guy Crockett is a historian of the Waldorf. He also managed it, I think. But he has a fantasy, and so does Mr. Kaifa, that somebody will read his book and go, oh, I have that.
Oh, that's in the attic.
Yeah, my grandfather gave that to me. I don't think he's right. I hope he is. But anyways, let's make a Bronx.
Yeah. A Bronx is essentially a perfect martini with orange juice and bitters added. It started with just orange juice. Later, they added bitters.
What is a perfect martini?
Oh, a perfect martini. Interesting you ask. There's also such thing as a perfect Manhattan. Perfect being you're splitting the amount of vermouth. So a martini would normally be 2 ounces of gin, 1 ounce of dry vermouth, depending on how wet you want your cocktail. But a perfect martini is splitting that 1 ounce of vermouth into dry vermouth and sweet vermouth.
Interesting.
Making it perfect.
Good.
A perfect Manhattan would normally be your bourbon or rye and sweet vermouth. With perfect, you do bourbon or rye and you cut the sweet vermouth with dry vermouth. So perfect is half and half. Yeah. So also with a martini, you'd normally stir, but because we're adding orange juice to this, we're going to shake it. You're adding something viscous to the drink. You want to shake it, strain it to dilute all that pulp out. So we're making 2 cocktails. We're going to start, each drink is going to get 2 ounces of gin. So we're doing 4 ounces. Again, I say it every time, you want to go all the way to the meniscus. See, it's almost dripping over. And this is to get a precise pour, but you know, some people like it a little more boozy, so feel free to tip it over. And now we're going to add, the recipes differ. So we're going to do a ½ ounce each of these. You could also do a 1/4 ounce each if you want something a little less boozy. You could do a full ounce. It's just kind of figure out the taste profile that you like, but we're gonna do a ½ ounce each of these. And for 2 drinks, that's a full ounce. So I'm measuring out a full ounce. This is our sweet vermouth. There's a lot of really great vermouth out there. Dolan is like
It's my favorite.
classic. Really, really tasty. Same amount with the dry vermouth.
I can also figure out which vermouth they use.
When you taste
Yes,
it.
because I'm a Dolan fan. But the interesting thing, Britt, is
Yes.
that none of these actually have vodka. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the H?
I don't know the actual answer to this, but I'm pretty sure vodka didn't start working its way into cocktails until really, really late.
So I was thinking, because I'm not really a gin person, couldn't you just switch vodka for any of these?
You could. It's going to
Less
be a
flavor.
different. It's less flavor, and I don't
Get
know.
going,
I don't know
Britt.
if you feel this way, but I feel like vodka has 0 viscosity unless
Yeah.
it's ice cold.
Yeah.
And so it ends up being very watery, or tasting
true.
like it's watery. We're going to do 1 ounce each of orange juice in these cocktails, so we're measuring out 2 ounces, and then we're adding the orange bitters. I'm going to say 2 shakes per drink, so 4. And with bitters. If the bottle's fresh, the bitters do not come out of the bottle very easily. So you kind of want to double your shake with a brand new bottle. So orange bitters, 4 shakes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not tiny little.
Do you know why it's
dots.
called the Bronx?
Why is it called the Bronx?
Because the bartender went to the Bronx Zoo that day.
And was just like,
Yeah.
this is cool. I'm just going to grab some ice real
Okay.
quick. Ice. Sealing our cocktail shaker. Don't care what you look like. General rule of shaking, I don't know if I've said this before. If you're shaking with regular ice, a cocktail, it's kind of understood you're gonna shake for about 10 seconds. If you're shaking with pebble ice, 7 seconds. If you're shaking with like 1 single cube or pebble, about 5 seconds.
Nobody knows that.
Do you want, should we double strain this since it's got the orange juice in it?
Sure.
Do you have a double strainer? You don't have to do this, but if you have pulp in anything, it's good to double strain just to keep that out.
I don't know what happened to my little strainer.
This is great.
Ooh!
Also, good little thing to note, these shakers, and I'm gonna get Randy a proper shaker.
I have a Boston shaker, which is glass and metal.
Glass and metal, it's great for what it is, but if you're shaking cocktails at home, like, you want to be as comfortable as possible, and there is a great Barfly and Carico companies make these great shakers. They're also large enough that you can fit 2 cocktails into one. Whereas Boston's shakers are just that pint glass, and it usually doesn't fit as much.
That's
liquor.
right.
Yeah.
That's actually correct.
So this,
Britt.
if you're making stuff at home, I'm correct. If you're making stuff at home, it's nice to have.
No, it is too small.
Yeah. It's always nice to add a little zhuzh to your garnish. Oh, I'm cutting ribbons. Okay.
Okay.
A ribbon. You want to express it on the outside and then use that same garnish to pull the expression around the top of the drink.
Show me the expression again.
Okay. So you're going to go essentially pith side, what would you use? Skin side down, right? On the cocktail. Essentially, you want the bitterness of the orange peel to be floating on the top of the alcohol. And then you want to rub the rest of it around the outside of the drink so that when you put it to your mouth, you have that very initial kind of bitter taste.
So here, you know who else is in the Bronx? The Yankees.
Oh.
Here's to 2024. Please. Let's try.
Cheers.
Oh, it's yummy.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's a breakfast drink or lunch.
It's bitter, which is delightful.
No, it's really, really nice.
The Bronx.
Cheers.
All right, so the next drink we're going to make is milk punch. It used to be served in a big punch bowl, sometimes made by curdling and taking the curds away, right? And just
Skimming the curds away.
That's called clarified milk punch.
Yeah, and often it's similar to making ricotta, as we were talking about, usually with the addition of some kind of citrus or citrus rind that helps to extract the particles from the milk, and then that's skimmed off the top, and so what you end up with is a clear liquid, a clear cocktail that has the kind of round creaminess of milk without being overpowered.
But we're not doing that.
We're not going to do that. We're doing the old way.
Yeah, we're doing it the old way. So here we go, milk punch. Let's do it.
Okay, so traditional milk punch is going to take gold rum, brandy, simple syrup, vanilla extract, and cream, heavy cream, milk, kind of your choice.
This is pre-prohibition. The first
long
recipe is
time
like
ago.
1688, if you believe that. But it's colonial.
Yeah, this cocktail can also be garnished kind of any way you'd like, similar to eggnog. You could do some nutmeg over the top. We're not going to do any of that either. I'm eyeballing this, but it's essentially 3 dashes of vanilla syrup. So we're just going to do a little bit of vanilla. Okay, we're going to do...
I couldn't find the hey la la, so we're using it.
We're going to do 1/2 ounce of our simple syrup.
I buy it pre-made. Please, you don't have to make simple syrup. It's just time consuming.
So we're gonna do, we've done simple syrup, we've done our vanilla extract, we're gonna do our heavy cream. Reason of doing this kind of thing first, you wanna measure out your non-alcohol first, because if you mess up, you don't wanna waste the alcohol.
Never.
So this is going to, we're gonna do 2 ounces of heavy cream. Yep, it's gonna be tasty.
Well, what did we make that was a huge surprise? That Brandy Alexander was a huge surprise.
That was very tasty.
That's a great drink.
Yeah, great cocktail.
Yeah.
2 ounces of our brandy. And she goes, God, this looks good already.
She pours it pretty good.
Whew.
Yep.
And 1 ounce of our gold rum. I did it pretty good.
You did.
I used to pour alcohol on a boat, so,
Ooh,
gotta be able to balance.
It smells.
Okay, so this is the kind of fun part. If you have access to crushed ice, this is a great time to use it, because when you shake something with heavy cream, with crushed ice, what you're doing is aerating the heavy cream, and you're getting a nice frosty top, like a frothy head.
Like Emily and myself, you can put crushed ice in the center of a beautiful cocktail cup and then pour a drink over it, and it turns into a big lumpy iceberg in the middle. And Britt told me usually you put the drink, then the ice.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, this is not served over ice. We're just shaking it with ice,
Yeah.
which we made using Mosley, the Thermomix.
Yeah. Look at that. Okay, so we're gonna shake with crushed ice. I'm not putting that, literally like, I'm not putting that much in. I'm gonna do 2 of those. You wanna shake until you can't hear the ice anymore, which should suggest, remember, you can't care what you look like.
That's right.
You can hear it, right?
Yes?
We're going on like 20 seconds with this, but this is forming a nice frothy cocktail that hopefully is gonna taste amazing. We're gonna serve this over a couple cubes of ice.
Okay.
So if you look in here, there's no more. It's all diluted. Great. Now, another thing for froth is to double strain, because when you double strain, you're adding a whole
She's
other...
obsessed with it.
I love it. Randy got a heavier pour. Or you might have another ice cube in there, I think. So this is where you could add a little grated nutmeg, a little cinnamon.
Just cleaning up the mess you made.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Milk punch.
Milk punch. Let's go.
Britt, what are you trying to kill me?
I mean,
If you drank 2 of these, you'd freaking puke your guts out.
I'd be on the floor. I'd be asleep in a corner somewhere.
That
Sitting
is,
upright.
I'm sorry, that is not good. It's a well-made drink.
It's correct, but
the drink is not good.
It's kind of like...
Milk with a bunch of alcohol in it.
It's kind of like when you accidentally grab your uncle's, like your uncle's drink at the holidays, and it's just pure
Liquor.
liquor.
Also, phlegm-inducing.
Yeah, it's thick.
It's
quite thick.
I can't believe they served this at the Waldorf.
Oh, and they'd bottle it too.
Clarified.
Yeah,
They
clarified. You bottle it.
I bet you it's better clarified.
It's way better clarified. It is. But that's not what this is about. This is about classic cocktails.
That's a dud.
Can't win them all. The grasshopper.
It's just depressing.
It really, can I just tell you a quick story?
Yes.
For some reason, at the start of COVID,
What is that?
when bars started opening up again, here's what I think happened. People went, there's no new liquor out there. We got to use what we have left. And they looked in their liquor cabinets and they said, well, it looks like all there is creme de menthe and creme de cacao. And so people turned back to the grasshopper, which personally, I don't know how it made its
Well, we're
way
going to
as
drink
far
it.
as
And here's the
has.
deal. We have to drink the whole glass because we are allowing ourselves to have small glass.
Lynn, I think we might need those crackers at some point. All right, so.
All right, here we go. So creme de menthe,
Yeah.
absolutely grim, okay?
Look at the color.
The bottle is green too. But that is grim. I'm sorry. Smell that.
I know what it smells like.
Just absorb the tragedy of that liquid.
I'm salivating. This just went.
Well, I was in the liquor store, and I love my liquor store guy, Hakeem at Waverly Liquors. He's the best. And I was telling him what we were doing, and I said, I have to buy this creme de menthe.
And he said,
And
why?
I said, do you have a small bottle? I told him everything we were making. And he said, no. And I said, well, you don't have a small bottle because creme de menthe knows you're only going to buy one bottle your whole life.
Yep.
So they want you to buy the big bottle. They don't sell it in miniatures, which is how they should sell it.
Yep.
Anyway, creme de menthe. The question is, Kava decide, who is drinking this? All right, so creme de menthe, let's
Yes.
do it.
Okay.
So just quickly, my mother's thing about getting up if the guy orders the frappe. Frappe means served over crushed ice, in case you're wondering. I thought it meant, frappe means hit, but I thought it meant shaken. But it's creme de menthe poured over crushed ice. If you're Emily and I, or creme de menthe with the ice on, not pouring the creme de menthe on
I
the
see
ice.
what you're saying, yeah.
Like Emily and I did creating an iceberg which was apropos as it was the Titanic episode.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
What's in it? What's in it, Britt? What's in it?
Oh, what's that?
What's in it, Britt?
Let me
What's
tell
in
you
it?
what's in the
What's in it,
grasshopper.
Britt? What's
The
in
grasshopper takes
What's
creme
in
de
it?
cacao,
What's in
creme
it?
de menthe, and
What's in
heavy
it?
cream.
What's in it?
Sometimes you shake
What's
with
in it,
fresh
Britt?
mint. That's what we're
What's in it?
doing.
What's in
Okay.
it, Britt?
Did you get that? Great. So listen, how much creme de menthe does it take to taste? Literally like a drop. You get it. But we're gonna put a whole ounce.
Grim.
in
You
this
know what it
cocktail.
is? It's dire. That's what it
So,
is.
Now, what did I tell
We
you?
have to drink the whole
We have
glass.
to drink the, okay. So we're gonna start with,
I've been feeling slightly sick all day, so this should really put the capper on it.
look out.
It's supposed to taste essentially like something called an After Eight. After Eight is an English mint. It's a square that comes in little sleeves, and it's got chocolate with very thin layer of, I don't know how they make them actually, of sort of mint cream. I used to love them when I was a child. I loved an After Eight. I also loved finishing everybody's wine because my sister and I cleaned up. Only once I did this. And our job was to clean up dinner. And one day when I was 13 or 14, I decided it would be really smart to drink everybody's leftover wine. And I projectile vomited all over the bathroom. And my stepfather and my mother took the door off the hinges because they were so terrified. It was awful, just chunky pink vomit everywhere. They took the door off the hinges. The hinges were on the outside. Strange, I know. It was an old English house, though. And they took the door down. My stepfather took one look at me, and he goes, "She's drunk!" Like that. And they just left me in the bathroom. And then, of course, I was grounded and all this stuff. But I never did it again.
Yeah.
I drank probably 3/4 of a bottle of wine.
Well, I guess we better get to making the grasshopper.
We're
then.
just putting it off.
We're really.
We're putting off the inevitable.
I could tell you stories.
No, what? Make the drink.
Okay.
We have to drink it. The whole thing. I've been sick all day, and I have to drink the whole thing.
1.5 ounces of heavy cream.
1.5 ounces of heavy cream.
Then we're gonna turn this.
Look at this stuff.
1 ounce.
Look at this. That's a real thing.
Look at that.
That's freaking grim. Oh, the color is unfortunate. Oh my goodness.
But wait,
who is
there's
ordering this?
more.
Who is ordering this? Britt, does anybody order it anymore?
I don't know. I know it's on menus still.
This is a miracle. This stuff is, we learned at some Christmas cocktails we did, that's an incredible ingredient, that it imparts the round beauty of chocolate without any chocolate.
Yeah.
It's amazing, creme de cacao. Anyways, Britt is taking a few pieces of mint.
A few pieces of
that
mint.
she's going to shake the cocktail
Shove
with
in
the
there.
mint.
I'm gonna tear them in half. I'm gonna
I
stick them in.
already feel sick.
Well, I'm adding the mint to kind of like, you know, class it up a little bit. All right, I'm taking ice now.
It's grim.
Gird your loins. Okay, we've added our mint and our ice and our liqueurs. We're gonna shake. How are we gonna shake?
Like we don't care what we look like.
That's right.
It's not going to make it any better. Wait till you see the
It'll
color.
make it cold.
Wait till you see the color.
I mean, as a kid, I would have loved this. We're gonna double strain this one.
She's obsessed with that.
Well, there's chunks of mint in it.
Look at that. Don't make them too big. I'm not going to make it. Holy shit.
How slowly
Oh my God.
it pours.
This can't be real. That can't be a real cocktail. That can't be real.
Just for a second, look how cute it looks. This looks like, actually, this is something you might get at the dentist. How cute that is. You can find the littlest florets at the
Which you should use
end,
anyway.
which the
Unless
end
you're
of the
making
mint.
like mint
How
pesto,
cute
you should
they
use
are.
the little guys.
Also, it's not important for this cocktail, but if you're garnishing with mint, a good thing to do is to slap it, because it extracts the scent
Releases
and
the
releases
scent.
the scent quite a bit. So you're going to get more of that.
This looks like you're not supposed to drink it.
Because of the glassware, I really mean this looks like the thing that you get the dentist used to clean your teeth with.
We gave ourselves a break and we used the small glasses.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay. I'm going to do it all at once, though.
It's not that bad. It's grim, but it's not that grim.
It's
Do you know why? It's because it's really cold.
It's really cold. It's really cold.
This is the key. Without this, you couldn't drink it.
Well,
That was a surprise.
yeah.
I thought that was going to be much, much worse.
I think we just talked it up so much that
It's
actually-
undrinkable. You would never order it again.
No.
It's absolutely foul.
Correct.
But it's not quite as fatal or
a shot of it, and a cold shot of it is, I might even
but I
say,
feel sick now.
enjoyable.
Do you feel sick slightly?
I'm going to feel sick soon. You want water. You definitely need water.
Now my tongue is burning and stuff. I mean, I guess that's a pre-prohibition cocktail?
Yeah,
That's before 1919?
that's what the book says.
God bless you, Waldorf Astoria. If you float your tongue in your mouth without touching the bottom or top, you feel how your tongue feels weird? Mm-hmm. Let's make a Clover Club.
Yeah.
Sounds like kind of a delightful drink. It was developed in Philadelphia at the Clover Club, and it was extremely popular. It had sort of a racing run through the cocktail world pre-prohibition, or as they say, the noble experiment.
Yes.
Yes, didn't work.
Yes. No.
No.
Here we are.
Well, I mean, it just turned into an underground industry, like we said. But anyway, the Clover Club is kind of a delightful drink, and I think we should make one.
Yep.
And let's see what happens.
Yep.
Clover Club it up, baby.
Clover Club is essentially a gin sour. So we're doing gin, simple syrup, lemon juice, and egg white. That's your gin sour, but we're adding raspberry.
Wait,
What?
John came from the theater. John is building the set at the theater. Johnny, come in.
Johnny!
Oh, hello.
Hello.
What is happening? Oh, it's my favorite,
Making
ladies.
some cocktails.
Hi.
Baby.
Johnny,
Can
get
I
a chair,
sit? Can I
yes.
sit at the
Yes,
bar
you can
and
sit,
watch?
yes.
Yes. Since John is joining us, we're going to make 2 cocktails. Same drink, just doubling it up. We're going to start with
We're
our
going to give John a little of each
a
of ours.
tiny,
Yeah.
a little
That's
bit.
why I came.
We're going to start with our egg whites. I have a bartender friend who knows how to do this by just, he shakes the egg and then he can crack the top and
I've
just
heard
the
that,
yolk
yeah.
comes out. I don't know how he does it.
Lots of practice.
Lots of practice.
It's going all over the place, Britt.
Guys, this is the nature of the beast. Let me rinse my hand really quick.
Actually, cocktails themselves are one of America's few contributions to the world.
Cocktails and jazz.
Cocktails actually are American, which is why when you go overseas to like Paris or Venice or whatever, you'll still see old signs that say American bar. These are bars that served cocktails before the age of cocktails. We're not really sure of the origin of the word. Mm-hmm. It's possible that it makes you grow a cocktail, makes you shake your feathers.
Yeah.
There's really no firm concept of where the name came from.
No.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we're making 2 of these. So we're gonna do, the recipe is 3/4 lemon juice. We're gonna do 1 1/2, which I think I got out of just 1 lemon. Almost. We can fudge it a little bit. And then we're gonna do same amount of simple syrup. So because I did just like scant 1 1/2, we're gonna do scant 1 1/2 simple syrup. And 2 ounces of gin per cocktail, so 4 ounces of gin going in.
When this was huge, like a Cosmo or like a, what is it, a shot of chartreuse, or it
Yeah.
had a heyday.
Yeah.
And when it went out, it was like maligned.
Oh,
Like the
people hated
Cosmo,
it. They got
yeah.
so mad at it.
I know.
It is like the Cosmo. Like, Cosmo is actually a really good drink. But I think what ends up happening is bartenders just get sick of making the same thing all the time. So why do you shake an egg white cocktail without ice at first, you might ask? Basically, your egg white is folding over on itself and expanding inside the glass, and that's what gives you the frothy top. And if you add ice cubes right away,
Frothy
you're
top
taking...
is Johnny's
That's John's nickname.
Yeah.
Johnny O
Glad to be
or
here.
Frothy Top. Good old Frothy Top. So we're gonna shake this for a few times before we add ice and the raspberries.
Which is called a
dry shake.
Ooh.
Now, It's egg white. And again, I told you it's folding over. You're basically creating a bomb inside this glass. So you really have to hold on. I'm not saying I'm not going to screw it up, but it's important to keep both hands on your glasses. So this one here, you can hear it. You hear that?
Yes, it's fizzing.
It's fizzing. It's beginning its process.
It's not supposed to go anywhere, right?
Well, she's got little bits coming out, actually.
Yeah. So, don't know if you can see that. Johnny, do you want to get some ice cubes?
Yes.
So I'm tossing in about 3 raspberries per cocktail.
How much ice would you
Fill
like?
that whole thing.
Oh, all right.
Perfect. Should we shake it?
Yes.
Okay.
Shake it, baby. Shake it. Ooh, look
that
at
looks
that.
amazing.
Wow. Dude.
Yeah.
Britt.
What is this called?
Yeah. This is a
Called
clover
the Clover Club.
Clover Club.
That's delightful.
I've never heard of it or seen it. It looks amazing.
All right. Now hold on, because it gets a garnish.
I thought those were for me.
No. Not for you.
Now we could do that.
I like that.
Great.
Okay, here we go. So my mother always told me that if it's sticking out like this, you can take it off and hold it or stick it in, but I think service like this is quite lovely. Mine is a heart. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Here's to the Clover Club.
Clover Club.
Long may it clover.
Chin chin.
Look at me, Johnny.
I always do.
That's divine.
That's beautiful.
It's very like a Cosmo.
I could drink a couple of those.
Yeah.
That's a real drink, though.
I would pull back on the simple syrup.
Me too.
All the recipes call for equal parts citrus and simple, but I will say this, and I've said this in episodes before.
Oh, that's good.
When you're combining citrus and simple syrup, it's a good note to do, if you're doing 3/4 citrus, do half simple syrup. Basically do a quarter less of your syrup than your juice.
Clover Club.
Yeah. Fantastic cocktail, right? And
Very
really
nice.
pretty.
Beautiful.
Like that
Come on.
is gorgeous.
I'd visit again.
Clover Club. The Knickerbocker.
The Knickerbocker.
So Knickerbocker is a word synonymous with New York. It's basically Washington Irving's Knickerbocker Tales that became synonymous with New York, sort of thinly veiled satire about early New Yorkers. And that became a word synonymous with New York. Now, there is a Knickerbocker bar on Irving Place or whatever that's not very good. University Place.
It's University Place, yeah.
It's cute. I went there after Creed, I think, when I saw Creed.
It's an odd
You saw
choice.
Creed? Oh, Creed, the movie.
What are you talking about?
I thought you meant the band. I was just...
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
man. I'm so into them.
With arms wide open. That's them, right?
Yeah, always big time.
I know Creed, the movie with
Flush.
Sylvester Stallone. I went
Good
there.
movie.
It is a great movie.
Good movie.
But anyway, so that's not related to that. It's a drink that they made at the Waldorf. Now, the thing about the Knickerbocker is it's strangely tropical to me.
Yes.
And very similar to a rum punch to me.
Yes.
Okay? But it has dry curacao, which is essentially Grand Marnier, but another brand.
It's an orange liqueur.
Made with cognac. This is dry curacao, which is a liqueur, orange liqueur. Now, Cointreau is a triple sec. It's not the same. You want to use this if you're making drinks or if you have a cake that asks for Grand Marnier. They kind of want Grand Marnier because it has more
of a
flavor.
punch, yeah.
More flavor. So this is a beautiful brand, Pierre Ferrand, they're a cognac maker. Fabulous.
Fantastic in margaritas.
Oh yeah.
Really good in margaritas.
We're going to use some grenadine because I forgot to make the raspberry syrup. In fact, let's be honest, I forgot to buy the raspberries. John had to get them.
Yeah.
Hi.
Sean.
Then we have some beautiful garnish, some lemon juice, and some delicious things that we're going to make a drink called the Knickerbocker.
Yep.
Yep.
And because we're using grenadine, I'm going to pull back on the amount.
Yeah,
from the
grenadine is
recipe.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Do you know the name of the most famous teetotaler? The most famous abstinence?
The most
Proponent?
famous teetotaler.
She has an incredible name. She's
The
one of the reasons...
unsinkable Molly Brown.
No, she was hardly a teetotaler, even though she claimed she was. She would make these fabulous desserts that were like soaked in raw alcohol, but she didn't drink. you know. But anyways, no, the name of the lady who was an absolute crusader for prohibition, her name is Carrie Nation, which is an incredible name.
Yeah.
And she used to go in and start praying in bars, like screaming prayers in bars. Oh, because, well, you're like, get out of here. Then she would take out an axe and proceed to break all the bottles in the bar. Then she got so famous that she had little axes made that had printed on it, "Death to Rum."
Carrie, that's
it's
really
rum.
aggressive.
No, like a souvenir
of
her. They were like this big, the fake ones. Anyways,
Carrie doesn't sound like she'd
well,
be
she
my friend.
succeeded.
a
We
lot of
had
money to
prohibition
spend.
for a long ass time, you guys. So it worked. But anyways, this is pre-prohibition, and then has been revived somewhat recently also. I want to just say about this second book, this gentleman opened the Peacock Alley.
Excellent name.
Now, most people don't know that the Waldorf Astoria was 2 hotels like this. One belonging to Waldorf Astor and one belonging to John Jacob Astor. John Jacob Astor was one of the richest men in the world, and his cousin, Waldorf Astor, opened a hotel, and then he said, I'm going to open a hotel next door. So he did. And they connected them with a corridor. And the corridor was called Peacock Alley because everybody would go swaggering through this corridor in their finery.
I love that
And
name.
anybody that wanted to be seen went to Peacock Alley. So when they reopened the Peacock Alley in 2005, they took the name from that corridor, and it was in the center in between the 2 hotels. Now, a little fun fact, you may realize when you look at the actual sign on the Waldorf Astoria, it says Waldorf Astoria.
Not
And
dash.
Not dash. And it looks like a Art Deco thing, but it's on purpose that it's the same. Yours is as good as mine, and mine is as good as yours. So there's an equal sign there.
That's
Isn't that
cool.
amazing?
Yeah.
So anyway, Peacock Alley, hopefully they'll reopen it when the Great Waldorf Astoria returns and we can all go and have a Knickerbocker.
Yeah.
Wait.
All right?
Yeah.
Let's go, Britt.
Okay. Ideally, if this
She doesn't
cocktail
drink, John.
is
She does
done
drink.
correctly, it's kind of a peacock of a cocktail. It's the kind of cocktail you see walk through the dining room and you're like, I want that. And you have no idea. The amount of times people order things because the cocktail looks really pretty or the garnish in it. What's happening over here?
Joni's all over the place.
She wants to get down, Johnny.
She kind of does, but she kind of doesn't, because she was going to get down over there, but then she
Joni.
decided to stay.
Okay.
So we're going to we're going to double up our measurements because we've got John here and we're going to share some
Better
cocktails.
triple the measurements.
The cocktail itself calls for 2 ounces of rum, so we're going to count out 4 ounces. And then we're going to do ½ ounce each of all of our other ingredients. So, because we're making 2 cocktails.
do this.
1 ounce. You can this cocktail you can totally make. This
If
is
you had
like,
a boy come over or something and you made this and
Yeah.
it was a hot summer day,
and a hot
you might
boy
get
on a
lucky.
hot summer day, look out,
Wow.
John. We're using a quarter
is
ounce.
wrong.
This is
This
wrong.
is wrong,
So
what
we're
we're
only going to
using.
do a quarter ounce.
it's pomegranate syrup. It's not right, but it's okay.
Yeah. Normally, though, you're going to use a ½ ounce if you had raspberry syrup.
Which I forgot to make, and I also forgot to simply buy the raspberries. John had to bring them.
And then ½
Ooh, it
ounce
smells
each
delightful.
of fresh lemon and lime juice. So I pre-juiced everything. This is our lemon juice. So we're
Lemon
going to do 1 ounce for this, ½ ounce for a single cocktail.
She's good.
I don't know if I have the same amount of lime, so
That's
we can.
right.
Oh yeah, look at that, perfect.
Oh, it's like you planned it.
Yeah. John, would you get me some ice, please?
I certainly would. Ice
All
for
right.
you,
Could
lady.
yeah, that's perfect.
More?
No, this is perfect.
Okay.
It's time to shake.
You really go all out with the shake there.
You have to. You have to. The whole point is you're getting the ice to hit both ends of the cocktail shaker. You can't just.
John's also done some bartending, but he's more of like a shot and a beer guy.
It's
me
pretty
that
simple
shaker.
stuff.
So now this drink is served over crushed ice. Ideally, you'd put the crushed ice in last because if it's in the glass while you're pouring over it, that gives the ice time to start to melt and then come back together again. So you're not getting that fluffy ice at the end. So we're just going to start with the drink. And I didn't double strain this one because we didn't have anything.
Looks suspiciously
Particularly-
similar, but I bet it doesn't taste the same.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I would have said no.
So now,
Crushed ice?
yeah. Perfect.
Oh, wow.
It's like a slushy.
John, you may not get any crushed ice.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
And then the garnish.
Ooh, it's beautiful.
Looks nice.
These.
What is this called?
We'll
The Knickerbocker.
We'll get John some regular ice, the Knickerbocker.
We're doing all the garnishes, eh?
All the garnishes.
I like it.
Again, we're slapping it to kind of release that aroma and the oils from the herb. A little raspberry. That one. And then John's can make that one look pretty too. That one actually, look at that. That's really pretty too.
Lovely.
And what do? You just drink it?
Yeah. I mean, you could have we could serve this with a small straw, but I think there's not too much ice in it, so it looks.
Here's to us who's like us, damn few, and they're all dead.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh,
That's a good cocktail.
That's a good summertime drink.
ooh, it makes your mouth go. Excellent job.
Excellent. Thank you.
Knickerbocker. Today we made origin cocktails, the beginning of some famous cocktails. We made the Knickerbocker, the Clover Club, the Bronx, a Grasshopper and Milk Punch. So during Prohibition, because you couldn't sell liquor, but you could sell it at sea. So they would have these cruise to nowhere trips where they would go out and just drink for 4 days solid and then pour out onto the pier. It must have been a crazy time.
Yeah.
Also, when drinking came back, that must have been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But anyways, we made 5 pre-Prohibition, in other words, pre-1919 cocktails.
We did.
Mostly from the Waldorf Astoria, or Astoria. Those are not really things that you can make for a big party because they're shaken concoctions per order. You can't really batch them. But just to reiterate, Britt always told me that you can batch a cocktail that's only alcohol. So I tend to batch what is John calls an RSM, which is a Randy Sharp martini.
Yeah.
In other words, a real martini. And Britt told me an incredible thing, which I want to tell you. So I have this bottle in the fridge always that has martinis in it, right? When you make batched drinks, you have to add a little bit of cold water because that takes the place of the stirring, which dilutes the drink, or shaken if you're doing James Bond.
Yeah.
So when she told me that, suddenly these disappear a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of has a lot of water in it. So it's a good drink, right, Johnny?
Oh, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, but so if you're batching, at the end, just put a little bit, like if it's this much alcohol, just put like that much cold water. It'll change your batching.
And you're also, people are able to drink more of them, but they're not getting as drunk. And the reality is when you get a martini, you're getting about 4 ounces of liquid in your glass. Roughly 3/4 to an ounce of that is water that has come off of the ice you're mixing with.
Yeah, so you're kind of duplicating that.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can't really batch these, but if you have 3 people over and it's you, why not make some?
Yeah, that was
Why not?
fun.
It was
Having
really
John
fun.
over, you see
Yeah.
how easy it is to
Yeah.
split a cocktail among 3 people. That was really fun.
And you could maybe do an evening where you made classic pre-Prohibition cocktails.
You might just go buy the book and
The book is great.
pick out 3 to try.
Yeah, why not? So here's to Origin Cocktails with Britt.
The grasshopper takes creme de cacao, creme de menthe, and heavy cream.
What's in it?
Sometimes you shake
What's
with
in it,
fresh
Britt?
mint. That's what we're doing.
What's in
Okay.
it, Britt?